Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another 3 questions in 3 minutes with our real estate and development power players. I am joined today by Rasmia Kirmani, the Interim Executive Director of Hester Street. Rasmia, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm thrilled to be here with you. So Hester Street is a nonprofit that seeks to build equitable, sustainable, and resilient neighborhoods through planning, design, and community development, which is quite an admirable and ambitious goal. So how do you go about making sure that that goal happens? How do you go about realizing that mission?
Great question. Love this question. So Hester Street really places local communities at the center of the planning process. And we work alongside communities, cultural and civic organizations, community-based organizations, residents, to really transform neighborhoods through a participatory process that encourages meaningful, long-term community stewardship and community power building. So for example, Hester Street has recently partnered with Vocal New York and Make the Road New York to support these two kind of member-based organizing powerhouses in New York City to move into new headquarters that are owned by the organization. So that supports community ownership and control and really rapidly gentrifying neighborhoods and creating long-term sustainability for the organizations. And so we've also recently released a report with policy recommendations for how to increase that community control across New York City, which you can find on our homepage of our website. And we're partnering with organizations across the city to advocate for increased funding and investment to support community land trusts, as a vital tool in fighting displacement.
And I know that you also do work with the Ford Foundation on public housing. And so I was hoping that you could talk a little bit more about that work as well.
Sure. I love to talk about public housing, and people who know me know that I will talk about it from bar room to boardroom. So the work with Ford has been growing over the years, and it really stemmed out of a lot of the work I did both when I was in Brownsville and when I worked at NYCHA. And what we are aiming to do, and this is also in collaboration with Hester Street, is really create a national network, a social housing national network. And what does that mean? About 1 in 14 New Yorkers lives in public housing. And public housing residents are the lifeblood of the city. They are our frontline workers. They work in education, in the police department, in NYCHA itself, in all of the systems New Yorkers claim to value the most. You can find public housing residents working in those systems. So how are we investing in the people who invest so much in this city? I think it's about creating a national movement.
So to change it up a little bit, I know that you have lived in Brooklyn a very long time, all over the borough. So I'm very curious, some of your favorite spots in Brooklyn.
One of my favorite things to do is run down McDougal. I live in Bedford-Stuyvesant in Bed-Stuy. Run down McDougal, run around Bed-Stuy, come up Halsey, stop at Saragina for a cup of coffee. That's one of my favorite places, one of my favorite routes. A lot of this is food related, but Fan Donuts on Lafayette in Bed-Stuy, go there. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't shout out one more thing, which is Tony, who runs our local bodega. And the reason why I shout this out is because I think particularly during the pandemic, those hyper local relationships have become so important. And it wouldn't be a day in the neighborhood if I didn't stop in and say hi to Tony. And I think that has made a huge difference in the lives of New Yorkers in their neighborhoods, those hyper local connections. So that's my Brooklyn.
What a beautiful sentiment to end on. Thank you so much. I was definitely taking notes that entire time. I'm going to do your Bed-Stuy trip here. Once around, grab some coffee, grab some donuts.
Awesome.
Rasmia, thank you so much for joining me and for being a real estate and development power player.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Anna.